Hey, what's going on, GameLeapers? Welcome to today's video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 3 most broken champs for each role in 12-12. And yeah, look, this is 100% accurate. I have seen the future, so to know who these champions are going to be, make sure you stick around for the whole video. And as always, if you want to master any of these champions, guys, all the roles in the game, make sure you check out the GameLeap website, description, comment section. You know where to hit it. We have the best challenger players, coaches in the world, uploading videos on a daily basis to help you improve, whether it's to do with micro or macro. We have everything covered, so check out our library of content, and let's get into the 3 most broken for each role for 12-12. Now, we'll work our way up, so we're going to start in the bot lane here and talk about the 3 best supports for 12-12. And coming in at number 3, we have Senna, who is still proving to be one of the strongest supports, despite copying a couple of nerfs in 12-11. So the nerfs to your Q slow, the duration of the slow, but the good thing for Senna in 12-11 was that your miss rates are going to spawn when you last hit minions at a higher rate. So if you're farming the bot lane, picking up CS, if you're farming the mid lane in the late game, you are going to stack your passive more, so even as a support, this is really good. And because Senna, even before 12-11, was a very good support, she is going to continue to be a very good support in 12-12, hence why she's number 3. But she's been to number 2 by Renata. And a bit like Senna, Renata is just a very good innate champion. Her kit makes her a great all-around support because you have CC, you have peel, you have a shield, and you also have your W, which is kind of a unique ability, and you could even argue that it's the strongest basic ability in the game. So despite getting nerfed recently, a bit like Senna, just because Renata is so innately strong, she has to be in another one of these videos. But beating both of these to number 1 on the countdown, this is a champion who pairs even better with the strong AD carries at the moment, like Zeri, like Twitch, like Kog'Maw, this being Yuumi. And for Yuumi in 12-12, you're actually receiving a couple of changes, so your shield from your passive, this is increasing, and even though your E's base heal is decreasing at later ranks, the point here is that Yuumi's synergy with the best AD carries at the moment, it is just too much to deal with, and because the meta is about durability, Yuumi just fits the bill perfectly. Peeling, scaling, late game, hard to kill, so she is the number 1 support. And speaking of those strong AD carries, well, coming in at number 3, we have Kog'Maw, and thanks to that hotfix buff that Riot gave to Kog'Maw to your W, so they kind of semi-reverted the percentage on hit damage, this has meant that Kog'Maw has really rebounded into being OP. Maybe not as broken as what he was when he got buffed a few patches ago, but he's certainly become once again one of the premier AD carries. And because Kog'Maw, you deal so much damage to tanky champions, and because the game is tanky, pretty much every champion in the game is tankier, you are frothing the durability meta, but maybe an AD carry who's frothing it a little bit more, this is Twitch. And for the playground, because you love scaling into a game and then dealing damage to tankier champions, Twitch's win rates across the board in every single elo, they're kind of insane. And I guess it also helps that most people don't know what invisibility is, so you will easily be able to rack up kills even if you don't have the best laning phase, so Twitch is number 2. But the number 1 champion, the best AD carry for 12-12, this is going to continue to be Zeri. Even though her W is getting nerfed in 12-12, so the base damage might be going up, but it is scaling less of your total attack damage. So this means in the late game, when you get a lot of attack damage, your W will deal less damage. But here's the thing, your health regen is going up and your health regen growth is going up as well. This could even be good for solo lane Zeri, but for AD carry Zeri, it's also beneficial. So these nerfs, so to speak, don't even really seem that bad. That's why Zeri is going to continue to be an excellent champion. Ever since Riot changed Zeri, where they gave her more damage, even though you may have lost a bit of mobility and utility, so worth it because you're hitting harder, and in a durability meta, you'll be killing champions quicker than any other AD carry, which is really the case. Now let's head to the mid lane, and the 3 most broken champions. Coming in at number 3, we have the ultimate mage counter, this being Kassadin. And because Kassadin loves the scaling meta, get to level 16, game is GG. That's why he's on the list. Even if Everfrost got nerfed, you could afford to go something like Luden's Tempest as your mythic. You can go something like Crown of the Shattered Queen as your mythic, and as long as you're getting Archangel Staff and maybe Azonius after this, super strong champion. Mages as well are generally stronger because they do scale so well, and the mid lane is easier to navigate out of these days. So Kassadin has been loving the rift since 12-10. This will continue to be the case in 12-12, just like Veigar, who will continue to be the strongest mage in League of Legends. Veigar has copped a few nerfs in recent times, but guess what? This has not discouraged players from playing Veigar, and this has not decreased his win rate enough for me to not put him on this countdown. So even if your base armor has been hit a couple of times, even if your event Horizon, the cooldown at early ranks, even if this has been nerfed, who cares about this? You still have insane scaling, and because you'll be getting to level 13 in pretty much every game, let's be honest, that's when your E will be on a 12-second cooldown cooldown just like before, so you can actually just afford to cop a nerf like that. It's not really going to change anything, which has proven to be the case. The Everfrost nerf for sure may have hurt you a little bit in terms of the root, the slow going down by half a second. This means you won't be landing your W and maybe Q as much, but Veigar, just like Caston, right, get to level 16, gonna happen in most games, you're gonna be sweet. And that's also the case, guys, for the #1 mid laner for 12-12, this being Yone, so an attack damage champion. So how can Yone be here if I said the mages scale well? Well, that's because Yone might even scale even better than mages. Once you get your Q down to a 1.33 second cooldown, and your cooldowns down generally speaking, the damage you deal in the late game with Shield Bow, Infinity Edge, GA, Mortal Reminder, whatever it is you have in your kit, everyone. It's also harder to kill Yone because there is less burst in the game, which was kind of your kryptonite, because if you go in, you might get blown up. So you are a bit more of a glass cannon before 12-10. After 12-10 though, the new meta allows you to scale. It allows you to stack your lethal tempo. It allows you to stack damage through your E and obliterate your opponents. So Yone, #1. Now moving on to the jungle for 12-12, guys, the 3 best champions coming in at #3, we have Diana. And whether you're going Nash's Tooth, Sunfire Aegis Diana, yes, that is real by the way, or if you're going Rocket Belt, which will buff the magic penetration, full one-shot Diana, either build, either setup, super broken on Diana. Because you're a champion who has Conqueror, I mean, you do have burst damage as well, but you're versatile. Your cooldowns will be low enough, you have decent DPS, especially if you go the Nash's Tooth Sunfire Aegis route, because this will allow you to stack Conqueror quicker, and you have great DPS, and because you're a very close range champion, the Immolate passive from Sunfire Aegis, that's going to proc, and you will deal so much AoE to nearby enemy champions just from the item alone. So Diana is the 3rd best jungler, doing really well across the board. Now #2, despite copping a couple of nerfs a couple of patches ago, this is Wukong, who is not getting hit in 12-12, and I don't know how. Like this jungler, you could very put him at #1, which I've done for the last god knows how many patches, and in 12-12, he's not losing any power. Divine Sundra, no nerfs. Conqueror, no nerfs. Wukong, no nerfs. So no nerfs directly or indirectly to the Monkey King mean that he's still going to be the Monkey King. So Wukong is #2. But the #1 jungler, guys, for 12-12, I've actually put Volibear at #1 here because I think with Turbo Chem Tank, Deadman's Plate, Lucidity Boots, it's a super busted setup. And especially in lower elos, because people will probably die to a gank more often. Volibear, especially in the early game, is 10 times better than Wukong will ever be at ganking a lane. The Q stun into pretty much a guaranteed E, it is deadly. And once you get boots, the buffed Barmy Cinder from last patch, so it's only 1,000 gold, really easy to get, and then build this into Turbo Chem Tank, which is giving you 100 extra HP now. This is crazy good for Volibear, and you don't even need damage. You have so much innate damage in your kit, really good base stats, so Volibear is the #1 jungler, guys, for 12-12. Now, of course, the last role, guys, we have to cover for 12-12, and this is the top lane. And for top lane in 12-12, the strongest champions, well, they're not really going to change from 12-11. So coming in at #3, we have the Olaf, and for Olaf, even though his W shield may have got nerfed, even if the armor reduction in your Q got nerfed, and these were from 12-11, of course, the hotfix, it still has not hit Olaf hard enough to bring him down from being OP. The champion in the laning phase is still one of the scariest early game champs in the top lane, and because of that early game power, you can easily get to the mid to the late game super far ahead, and this is why Olaf is still killing it in the top lane in pretty much every single elo. But beating him to #2 on the countdown, guys, we have a champion a bit like Wukong, who I mentioned a little bit earlier, who loves Divine Sundra, this being Jax. And think about why? Well, there's more HP in the game, so the Spellblade passive going to be even more valuable. And if we think about the 12-10 buffs to Blade of the Ruined King, so even though it's still a hefty 3,300 gold, more life still in the item, and because Bork is so good against these tanky champions and attack speed for Jax, it's crucial. It's in your passive, it allows you to stack lethal tempo quicker, and also get off more of your empowered strikes. So for Jax at the moment, because there's more HP in the game, the champion is just too good, and that's why he's boasting the #2 position for top laners in 12-12. But Jax and Olaf, guys, these two champs are beaten to the #1 position by Darius. And for Darius at the moment, well, the new meta has proven to be so good for him, and let's think why. Well, Darius loves extended fights. It's pretty much impossible to beat this champion if the fight goes longer than 3-4 seconds, because his passive will stack, his W cooldown, he can get multiple Ws off, you're going to be hit by his Q pretty much guaranteed, and all of a sudden you have 5 hemorrhage stacks, and you have a grey screen. So Darius is the #1 top laner, guys, for 12-12. He's picked a decent amount, but he is banned so much, so I think that most people know just how good he is, which of course is reflected in the ban rate. So watch out, guys, for these champions we mentioned in this video in 12-12. Play them if they're open as well for free LP, and let me know in the comment section any thoughts, any questions, anything you want to say, drop it down below. And if you did enjoy the video, please remember to leave a like down below as well. And until our next season 12 upload, this has been Coach